I end up with a lot of Desi women in my inboxes. They like to send me things, but the things that they send me when I read it, as I read it, I'm like, I relate to all of this. I relate to so much about what the women in their community is going through. As I was reading this, if I were to take out the word Desi community and put Black community, it would still work perfectly. This was posted in the Splendida Brown subreddit. She says, does anyone else feel this weird push by the Desi community at large and by Desi men to be this weird face of the anti-racism woke movement? Desi women are penalized harder if they seem like they are betraying the Desi community than the men are. I think the women, hold on, if you are a non-white woman in any community, I think that you get penalized harder, especially if you don't take up or body block for the men. The women are expected to body block and coddle men. Anyways, let's look at her post. She says, I don't know if I'm able to bring my thought out clearly. No matter the racism against Desis is ramping up in the States with the Usha Vance fiasco or the Mamdani getting a lot of political support to the ire of Republicans. She says, but for a community so centered on male and son worship, I find it interesting how much responsibility it puts on the women to be the defenders of the culture. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't believe in putting down my community to gain validation from anyone, but I feel like there's so much more pressure amongst the women to uphold the mantle of the community in face of harsh pushback from the West, while the men are just allowed to chill. One would argue that it is the men who should be traditionally out there in their protective energy, but it is mostly Desi women who do that. And it will be Desi women who end up getting the harshest pushback. Like I said, I so relate to all of this. She says, recently, the woman who stood up to J.D. Vance publicly was a Desi woman. I don't see very many Desi men doing the hero routine to save my brown people. Or how, in my household, dare you as a woman say you will not wear a sari for a specific event because it can be too difficult to handle, then you would get a huge lecture on internalized racism, while I never once saw my brothers being pressured to wear a salwar kamzi. They could just be chilling in sweatshirts. You date out as a woman, you are a pick-me, you are a colorist, blah, blah, blah. No one, papa, mommy, going up to their Raja Beta and asking him to stop embarrassing him in Stacy's DMs though. She says, heck, on my social media, I was called self-hating because I didn't post any pics in traditional clothes. I love my jumkas and kurtis, but it just happened due to personal mental health issues. I didn't dress up at all this year. But the guy who said that, 99% of his Insta account is him in normal Western clothes. I feel like the Desi community and men allow themselves to mesh in with the larger Western culture to gain more soft power. And again, I assert there's nothing wrong with being very rooted to your culture, but at the same time, they would never let the woman do that, not because they care so much about the race or the community, but because that is their only way to keep us on a lower social rung, so to say. Don't get me wrong, go wear your pretty sari with the bindi. Go color code your hijab with the modest Sarah Kamzi, if that is what you like. But if the men in your community get to westernize so that they can play safe with Robert, all while shaming you by claiming that you are self-hating or pick me, just know that they are not doing it as some deep concern for the culture. They are doing it to keep you down and about, or maybe down and out. Anyways, regardless, even as I said these words that I don't know what they are, I don't care, because she communicated exactly what many of us experience, that these dudes get to go out. Oh my gosh, they get to get with whatever woman they want to. They get to talk down on Black women. They get to whatever. And we are supposed to be an image of the Black community. We can't talk down to them. We can't clap back. We can't protect ourselves. We can't speak on the things that are going on or going wrong in our community, because if we do, we are self-hating and all this you're just trying to keep a brother down and you're just bitter and all of that. I absolutely love this. I love the community, the global community of women speaking the things that they're going through, because it speaks to many of our experiences as well. Let's look at some of the comments. Arushi Karthik says, it seems quite similar to what's been happening to Black women for a long while now. They want women to do the work. And I wonder if someday soon we'll also get some label like angry brown women or something to delegitimize the work that ends up getting done. That is an Indian woman saying that. The thing is, people know what Black people go through. People know what Black women are facing. For so long, we've gotten this label as being angry and bitter. And some women, they embodied it. They took it on and believed it. But these were all stereotypes to triangulate women against each other. To put themselves higher, they would get put higher on a pedestal than us because they could step on us to feel better. But as more and more of us are sharing our stories and we see what these men are doing in order to, like the Black women, we've always been a shock absorber of sexism and racism. And unless other women were willing to unpack their racism towards us, they would never see that they're also facing sexism and racism themselves. I'm glad that other women are seeing how women are being triangulated against us and pushing back against it. I'm happy to see this comment. Not sure what this person's name is, but she says, agreed. This has been happening to Black women, and now I can see the pattern happening to brown women and Asian women. The amount of resentment from Asian men towards me for dating a white man is absolutely insane. Women aren't resources. We're people, even if we decolonize, they use this word the wrong way, ourselves, we can still choose to date white men. Reminder that color and race are modern constructs. They're not even real categories. The human rights of women will always come before the egos of men, period. Let me say that one more time. The human rights of women will always come before the egos of men, period. That right there is a sermon. She says, brown women do not belong to brown men. Brown women belong to themselves. Don't let the most pathetic and incel of men dictate what you do. Also, most people tend to date within their communities anyway. That woman, she spoke a sermon. She said, edit. In my community, the men will criticize you for not knowing enough Asian history, if you don't like Asian fascism or being too Western, for caring about women's rights, or if you date a white man and not an Asian man, they will call you ugly by Asian standards. That's why she couldn't find an Asian man. These men are scum, and they are in every culture. They are just conservative fascists. They view women as less than animals. Amen. Gay Spider Eater says, it's funny when they blame women for dating outside a certain ethnicity or race more than blaming men who do the same. I say let people love who they love. This person who deleted their account says, if a Desi woman takes care of herself physically and is integrated into Western culture, she basically overrided her stereotypes. Desi men still have to grapple with the creepy / awkward / nerdy stereotype, regardless of how they look. They don't want us dating out and exploring into other cultures, which treat women better, creates more competition for toxic men. Personally, I refuse to support a culture that sexually shamed me for my whole life and taught me to be a slave. Shak Chun says, this is what I've been saying all this time. If you care about all of this social justice warrior garbage, then you will soon turn into some social justice warrior that brown men mock. If you stop dating brown men, get hotter, and stay unbothered, then you'll gain more soft power in society. Personally, I don't care at all about South Asian men. This means I don't help them. I don't look at them. I show zero support towards them. They can fend for themselves. It's the survival of the fittest after all. There were only 5 comments on this post. So I'm going to leave it there. But I absolutely love that I was sent this morning, and we all needed to see this, because at some point women need to understand that you need to try to survive as a woman first, because these men, they will crawl over you to get to that next woman anyway. I think women globally are developing a sense of self-preservation, and I love that for us. Obviously, we all will encounter racism in this racist world, but we are also encountering sexism within our own communities. And I love that we're having these discussions in the public square. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think about all of this. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. And I'm pushing towards 100,000 subscribers over on my YouTube channel. Please go ahead and smash subscribe. I was sent this Twitter post, and I recognize that this is Twitter. They have a lot of manosphere people, a lot of red pill bros over there. So this question could very well just be fake. But the whole point is he has people answering the question. So this man named Nikita asked the question: if you get upgraded on a flight, but your girlfriend/wife doesn't, do you downgrade and both suffer, or do you take the upgrade? I need an answer in 5 minutes. So that is what Nikita is asking to his Twitter space. And yes, I know it's X, but I'm not calling this X. This is the Twitter. B. Muhammad answers the question. Actually, quite a few people chimed in, but this is what B. Muhammad says. Honestly, any guy who takes the upgrade and leaves his girl in economy is the same type who'd walk in the shade and let her walk in the sun. This ain't about seats, people. It's about who you are as a person. If you're comfortable while she's suffering, then something was broken from the start. Real love doesn't split like that. Either we both win or we both lose. There's no such thing as I enjoy myself, you deal with it. And anyone saying she'll understand? No, she won't understand. She'll just stay quiet. Big difference. And that whole thing right there, she'll just stay quiet. Big difference. I do believe that some of these dudes really do want women to suffer in silence, or just accept it and just keep going along to get along. I don't think that many of these dudes these days really act. I don't think they like women. I don't think they like the women in their lives. And we keep seeing these scenarios play out over and over again. The mean-spirited pranks, which are really just bullying tactics, the manipulation tactics, the coercive tactics, is all just mean-spirited. And it's like, you can't like somebody or love somebody or want to be in someone's life for a good chunk of time and treat them like utter poop. You just can't. And the loneliness epidemic, which is moving into a pandemic, which is really just going to be a mandemic soon, it speaks volumes, because they don't know how to be friends, let alone good partners in a relationship. Anyways, let's look at some more of these responses. Josh says, this happened to me and my wife last month. We were the first two on the upgrade list. They called us up to the desk at the gate and say they only have one upgrade available. Without skipping a beat, I respond, I'll take it. The airline worker, an older lady, gasped, then gave me a look. My wife quickly chimed in. He's only kidding. Of course he's letting me take it. We all laughed. Y'all needed to see that. Y'all needed to see those first two comments, because we all need to see some of this sometimes. We do know and understand that women these days, we take on a lot. And, we manage the households, we make their lives easier. And it's good to see that some men do know and understand that. So I got Josh out the way. Now let's look at a few more of these comments. Here's Nikita's response. He says, thanks for all the suggestions, everyone. And then he gives us this picture. Now, I recognize that this is the internet. Anybody could pull a picture off of Google. Anybody could post a picture without any context. We don't know. But the whole point is he is letting us know, even in his fake scenario, if it is fake, that he would totally choose first class and let his significant other sit back in economy. That is what he is letting us know. Now, take for that what you will. It's totally up to you how you interpret that. But even if this is a fake scenario, this is how these people feel about women and their insignificant others. Donnie, who has a profile picture with this Groiper frog, says, what's the purpose of the trip? Nikita says honeymoon. If that's the case, this is hilarious, but okay. Donnie says take the upgrade and sell it to someone. This person named Matthew reshares Nikita's post and says, 1, if it's your girlfriend, you should either take the upgrade and break up with her soon or else quietly decline it and propose soon. 2, if it's your wife, you as a gentleman offer her the upgrade and she'll probably decline and let you take it. Number 1 right here. The type of advice that men offer other men is the reason why many of them will stay single. I do not believe that these older men actually like younger men. And we see this in the red pill movement, in the manosphere movement. They give them all of these stupid talking points. It creates a brain rot, and it's a cycle that even if they do have significant others, they're like, treat them insignificantly. This dude says, break up with her soon. Break up with her soon, knowing good and well that so many women are opting out of dating is some terrible advice. Why are you going to break up with her because you got offered an upgrade? Why would you do that knowing good and well that some women are saying, get someone else to do it. I'm out of this game right now. I see the dating prospects in the dating pool. These dudes overvalue themselves so much to where they think that women will continue to come every 15 minutes like buses, and it's just not happening like that. But then right here, offer your wife the upgrade and she'll probably decline it. Why would she? Like, where do they even talk to women? Do they like women? The answer is no. To the Great says, my legs are so long I literally cannot sit straight in domestic economy. I got offered the upgrade. I offered it to my 5'4" now ex-girlfriend to be polite, and she took it. She took it. Matthew says, what are you going to do? To the Great starts laughing, but obviously since it's an ex-girlfriend, since she took it, I guess they broke up. Emily asked the question, genuine question, why are we treating girlfriends better than wives? So she's giving off real good, real strong pick-me energy. This woman named Romy reshared Matthew's tweet, and this is what she says. She says, I was once married, and the guy changed dramatically after the wedding, canceled our honeymoon to focus on work, became extremely short-tempered with me, stopped helping with anything around the house. When I finally left him, he said with bewilderment, I thought once we were married, you'd never leave me, no matter what I did. There's a type of guy who thinks a wife is someone who exists to serve him, and there's a type of guy who genuinely wants nothing more than to make his wife happy. If you're really honest with yourself, you know which one you're dating, and if it's not the latter, you should run. This part right here, a lot of these dudes really do overestimate themselves. And this is why they cannot stand feminists. They cannot stand women who have their own homes. They cannot stand women who can just get up and go on a trip. They can't stand those types of women that can get up and go on a trip because they know that they can't just be manipulative, abusive, mean-spirited, cold, because that woman can pick herself and leave that situation. If there is a woman that can brunch on a regular basis with her girlfriends and drink mimosas, that's the type of woman who has a support system. They don't like that. If a woman is perfectly fine being single and she has her pets, her plants, her hobbies or whatnot, they don't like those types of women. They want to break those types of women down. Why? Because they want to be able to control them and think that they are going to be the center and the woman is just going to orbit them. They cannot have a woman that actually has hobbies and friendships and balance because they have none. And this part right here, I thought once we were married, you'd never leave no matter what I did. These dudes are in for a terrible, terrible surprise if they don't leave that mindset, like just leave it behind them, because women are perfectly fine. Women are out here making moves and doing things and accomplishing things. Even in this terrible economy, women are still attempting to set themselves up for success with or without a guy. Ryan asked her the question, ouch, how long were you with him beforehand? She says 6 years. Ryan says, I'm scared. And she says, yep, I was pretty nervous. The same thing could happen again, but I have no doubts about my new partner's priorities. And I think most people have correct intuitions if they're really honest with themselves. And if we get women to the point where we're okay with the boundaries, being assertive, knowing and understanding what we want in life and all of that, and knowing that we can walk away and be okay. We have got to, this is the reason why I say the things that I say, be okay with walking away. But that means that you need to be financially independent and okay enough to where you can walk away. Albert says, maybe he thought you were the type of girl who genuinely wants nothing more than to make her husband happy, because these dudes really do believe that women are sent here to serve them. I think that women are getting to the point where we're knowing and understanding, and I will keep beating this drum, that we are more than a wife appliance. We are not men's entertainment machines. We are not here simply to serve them. We're human as well. Romy says, I am. This works best when both partners have this orientation and spend their days trying to make the other person's life better. I've now found that kind of relationship, and it's unbelievably nice. And to that, Albert says, it's not natural or sustainable to expect to be loved unconditionally. It's always give and take. You're just setting yourself up for the same kind of breakup. There's nothing about what she said that says that she's setting herself up. He just really wanted it to be where these women are set up to only serve men. Anyways, chime in. I thought that this was an interesting interaction over on the Twitter. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. I say this several times a day. The birth rate needs to plummet to hell. Many of these husbands are the absolute worst PR for marriage. The way some of these men treat their wives, especially during pregnancy, in the aftermath of pregnancy, is the reason why the birth rate should plummet to hell. The way they opt in or opt out of parenting duties, the way they look at women's bodies after they have had babies and they're like ill, like some kid looking at some green beans. This is the reason why many of them deserve to be lonelier. This is a very short post, but it speaks to what some women go through. Our bodies, our hormones, our sleep situation, everything is in flux. And then you got the nerve to say this. Oh my goodness. She says, no sex because I'm too fat. Absolutely not. Break up with him right now. Just break up with him right now. Anyways, the post. I'm sorry. I just keep getting off on a tangent because I am so disgusted. No sex because I'm fat. And she posted this in the marriage subreddit saying, my husband finally admitted that he won't sleep with me after all these years because I need to lose some weight. It is weird to me because I'm not even that much overweight. I am 150 pounds. I gained weight during my pregnancy, but always lost it when done breastfeeding. I currently can't lose more weight because I am breastfeeding. I have a saggy postpartum belly. I am shocked that was I'm sorry, I got a little tongue-tied. I'm shocked that was apparently why all this time. Maybe because when we met, I was so skinny because I was vegan and had anorexia and bulimia. He likes super slim figures, apparently. Okay, dudes. When you put the baby batter into a woman and then she takes almost a year to grow a baby, her body is going to stretch out. Our bodies change. Our hormone levels are jacked up. Our sleep is jacked up. And then we have these babies after we built them for nearly a year. It stretches out our bodies. Some things never go back to normal, ever. It just happens like that. I know I am not the same as I was before I started having kids because things just change, and that's life. And so many of these dudes don't know and understand that we are not dolls, that we're not robots. We're actually humans. And like, they really think that we're going to go back to what our bodies did beforehand. And some things it's just not going to change. And so if these people cannot understand what life is going to be like with a woman that's a human, then more of them just need to be alone. That's why Apprehensive Save tagged me in saying, let's make these dudes lonelier, paging Burb and Bougie. Sweet Potato says, sorry, but your husband is an a-hole. You went through a pregnancy and childbirth and breastfeeding of his children, and he's upset about a little weight gain? Does he do his equal share of parenting, childcare, and household chores? And here's the OP saying, I tried to explain to him that he's being unreasonable. I told him if I lost the weight, I don't think that would please him. He must just not like me. He must not like the child either, because if she is breastfeeding, you have to eat a lot more in order to breastfeed because your body is producing milk. I really don't like that so many of these men even get to have access to a woman, because they deserve nothing. They deserve to have their DNA just shrivel up and just expire when they expire. So many of these men shouldn't even be breathing the same air as a woman. They need to just be there by themselves, never even getting a chance to interact with a human woman in real life. Because how dare you? And obviously I'm saying this because I'm a mother. I've gone through these things. I've breastfed 2 kids for almost 2 years. No, not even almost, for 2 years apiece. And it is draining. It's taxing on your body. I cannot, I couldn't understand how I couldn't deal with a man like this postpartum and sleep deprived and hormones in flux. Absolutely not. That girl Zhao says, girl, I'm sorry, but this man is 100% fabricating this as an excuse because he did something he knows is wrong. He's playing mental gymnastics so he can justify whatever it is he's done. I don't know you or him, but if I was a betting woman, I guess he's getting sex from somewhere else and is currently trying to cope with that and believes your body changing is a justifiable excuse. Here's the OP saying he has ED, so I don't think so. I think he might watch corn. I asked and he hesitated to say no. Historical Kick says reliance on corn seems to be a pretty common factor in ED these days. He's using your weight as an excuse, so he doesn't even have to try to address his rampant corn use. Just for fun, he gets to make it all your fault that he's not able to have sex. So basically, unless he's willing to get help for the corn use, he's not going to want to fix his sexual relationship with you. Plus, he'll continue to blame you and make your life a misery. Please don't let him drag your self-esteem down with his OP. You deserve so much better than this. Absolutely. And I hope that she sees everybody coming to her to like do a virtual hug or whatnot, because she doesn't deserve this. She's postpartum. She's supposed to be healing, feeding their baby and all of that stuff. And she said had his children. So she has another person that she has to consider. This man doesn't even deserve consideration. He deserves to be lonely. I'll do this last screenshot. Heat and Force says someone needs to get through to him what this postpartum time is like for a woman and the type of support she needs from her husband. What the F? Dude is gross. But I do believe that men need to know and understand just in general what a woman goes through so that we stop getting to this point where they are grossed out by our postpartum bodies and what happens after the fact, and that they actually need to participate in parenting and all of that. There needs to be some classes or something, because this can't continue, and women are going to keep speaking on these things, and it's going to make single and child-free women continue to want to stay away from and shun dudes. Lillian Wargo says, I'm sorry you're having to deal with this. Your heart must be breaking. I couldn't even read that last line. He must just not like me, without my inner voice cracking and my heart breaking a little as well. My late husband recently visited me in a dream and reminded me of what he had already taught me during our 17 years together. I'm going to share this with you because I feel like these words apply to you as well. It's not you. You are amazing, and any man would give his left nut to be with you. If they can't see how amazing you are, and if they aren't capable of appreciating all that you have to offer, that's their loss. there is something wrong with them, not you. Don't let anyone make you feel like you aren't good enough or that you are only good for one thing. You are a prize. Don't sell yourself short out of the loneliness or fear of doing life alone. You got this. I'm going to end this here. Chime in. Let me know your thoughts on this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.
I love Chinese women's dating advice. They really do not come to play. I'm gonna share some of my favorites. Starting strong, 心疼男人是不幸的开始, which means feeling sorry for a man is the beginning of your misfortune. Number 2, 给男人花钱倒霉一辈子. Spending money on men brings you bad luck for a lifetime. The third one, 只要荣华富贵，不求一丝真情. As long as I get wealth, I don't need a shred of true love. 会呼吸的男人真的很减分. As long as a man is breathing, he is disappointing. And last but not the least, which is 100% true, 不婚不育保平安. Stay unmarried and child-free, and you will stay happy and safe.